Did you know that the work and the weddings that you are already shooting, that there are so many amazing marketing opportunities built into that experience alone? I have been a wedding photographer for 13 years and I've never paid for traditional advertising. And yet we charge $10,000 a wedding and we're booked out every year. All right, so let's talk about how this works. So you have one bride, you treat them really well. You have intentional markers in their client experience that make them fall in love with you and think, oh my gosh, she's even better than we thought. And that person has 4 bridesmaids. One bridesmaid has a younger sister, just got engaged, they book you. One groomsman is engaged, they book you. So you have 2 weddings from that one wedding based on the client experience and what they loved about you. Well, then you have those 2 weddings. What if you book even just 1 from this wedding, but 3 from this wedding? Think about that compounding ripple effect over time. If you keep investing the right way and you keep being intentional with your client experience, then all of a sudden you're 1 to 2, 3 years in and you just have this ongoing ripple effect of your in-person experience. That is the beauty of word of mouth marketing. But the trick is there are intentional decisions that seem like they don't matter, but they add up and they're impactful, more so than you would ever imagine. So I'm going to show you 10 ways that you can be intentional with your client experience with every single wedding that you're shooting. Because if you do this with every single wedding that you're shooting, you're not just showing up and doing the work that you've been paid to do, you're showing up and doing the work that you've been paid to do while also marketing and advertising yourself at the same time. All right, so number 1, educate your clients early and often. The reason why this is so important is because most of the time, people who are booking you for a wedding, they have never gotten married before, right? You're the one that knows timelines, sunset times, worked with planners, understand details, the flow of the day. These people may not know anything. And so you want to book them and not only establish that you are credible and professional, but you want them to have a certain level of trust in you. When people are booking with us, as soon as they book, we establish ourselves as, hey, we're the experts. We've done this so many times. We're going to take care of you. And we send them a bridal guide. It's a 90-page printed magazine that walks them through how to plan out their entire day to be photography friendly and gives them tips and tricks. And it makes me look like I've got my stuff together. So I'm educating them, I'm building trust, and I'm becoming the most credible vendor they're working with. When you send people education and you train them about the timeline, when to plan an engagement session, how to have enough time for portraits, what details to bring to the getting ready area, you're setting yourself up for success and protecting yourself from a photographic failure, right? Wedding days can be stressful and quite honestly awful if you don't educate. And that kind of strips away so much of your marketing power. So if you're the person that tells them, gives them information as soon as they book, how to make their wedding day thrive, 1, you look great, and 2, you show up on the wedding day and you have the opportunity to actually create a great experience. Whereas if you don't educate them somehow, then you're going to show up and it's going to be a scramble. It's going to be stressful, and it's not always going to reflect positively on you. This is the best way to look great and have a great experience on a wedding day. Educate often, professionally, and build trust. All right, so number 2, being in control of how you present yourself on the wedding day. Let me explain this. I think, and it may not be a very popular opinion, but a lot of times people think that their images are what people are going to remember. And quite honestly, they are what they will look at and how they will remember it visually. But the way you make people feel sticks with them way longer than the final image and what they're seeing. So posing. Do you have a game plan for your posing, or are you just going to get your clients in decent light and just kind of come up with something? Like you're just going to hope for the best and it feels awkward. You don't give enough instruction. They feel weird. They're losing confidence. You sound crazy. You sound panicked. Like, do you have a plan for your posing? If you don't, we've got a great posing course. The Posing Evolution will change your life. But if you don't have the funds for the posing course, or you don't have time, maybe you're shooting tonight and you're just now watching this, this is what I would recommend. Power, praise, precision. All right, we actually have an entire other YouTube video dedicated to the 3 P's of posing. So that's going to be linked below. Ty just reminded me. Second thing about this is, how does it relate to marketing? Why does this matter? Well, if you want people to talk about you, you have to do something remarkable that they will remark on. So for me, when I am engaging with people, I recognize I actually have this crazy impactful opportunity to make people feel something when they are with me. Family formals, I think, are the most impactful part of marketing that you have for the whole day, right? You are dealing with families and they're either going to fall in love with you or they're going to hate you. You're going to either be the girl that's stressed and has this, so everyone get together, stressful tone, or you're the person that can take a stressful timeline and be like, guys, they're married. Okay, let's get some family formals. Let's get together. Simple changes like that make such a world of difference. I mean, I can't explain to you how many photographers I have watched shoot, and I think to myself, they sound angry. They sound mean. Why would anybody choose to work with them again? That is not a pleasant experience. And so I make it a point when I'm working with family members and I'm instructing and posing that I have a sense of what I call gentle authority. I'm in control, but you don't think I'm a jerk. That's the goal. I want you to think that girl knows what she's doing. She's on a roll, but she's nice to listen to. She's actually calming, even though she's giving people orders. That is the ultimate goal. And that is something that people remark on. All right, number 3, create a same-day slideshow. We actually have an entire YouTube video about this as well that we will link below so you can get more details. But basically, we are taking an opportunity during the reception to take some key photos from throughout the day to highlight and show our clients on an iPad, which then after the couple sees it, then we show family members and then they pass it around the entire reception. I love this because 1, people are shocked. They have no idea how we did it that fast. I get to see my clients' reaction to their photos in real time, in person, but also it sets me up to be able to have images to promote and share and pass on to vendors quickly and easily as soon as we leave the wedding. This is quite honestly, I think, the strongest, most apparent marketing tip that I could give you during a wedding day. I mean, you literally are showing images and bridesmaids are gawking. Oh, I have video clips of people looking at the iPad and then looking at me like, you're amazing. Like that is marketing. The cool thing is though, you're taking everything you have to offer them as far as impressing them and combining it together. So they love the way you made them feel. Now they're obsessed with the images. It's like, I gotta have her. So same day slideshow. I think it's one of the best ways to take one wedding and get as much marketing power from it as possible. All right, so this leads me to point number 4. Point number 4 is to do an Instagram post, a sneak peek as quick as possible. So when I get in my car after the wedding, we're driving home. I know I'm crazy, but I like to cull on the drive home or the flight home, wherever we're shooting. I immediately go to that same day slideshow folder and I pick an image and I share it immediately as fast as I can. It's almost like someone has given me a little head start. It's like, you know what? We've already found them. We've already edited them. Just post it. That allows me to look like I've got my A game together. It also gives people from the wedding something to share and promote and get excited about. All right, so number 5, get those images to vendors so they can share. However is fastest and easiest. So this is what we do. I take the same day slideshow images, and honestly, we've done this so many different ways. I will either send an email out, or a lot of times if you have a planner, they're texting with you, they have your number, just text them a link, or we love doing it this way. They'll be looking at the iPad with us and we're like, hey, do you have your phone with you? Let me just airdrop these to you. And I just airdrop them straight to the planner's phone. And there is, honestly, I think it's a cool relational, like, hey, let me just give these to you. And a lot of times they are shocked by that because a lot of photographers are so stingy with their images, they don't even get to share anything until weeks after. And here I am showing them the best of the best. They're blown away. And I'm like, let me just send these to you so you can post them tonight. They love that. There's no greater way to make a great impression than to give someone great marketing material for their own business, right? You're helping them in a tremendous way. So not only do I send the same day slideshow images to vendors that night, that day somehow, so that they can also post a sneak peek on Instagram, I will also, after it's blogged within that coming week, that I'm getting to that in a second, I will also send the vendors an email sharing all of my favorites within 7 days after the wedding, because I want them to have access to other images that may be associated more with what they contributed. So maybe in the full blog post, I have a picture of the tent for the tent company. Maybe I included a really great shot of food for the caterer. Those aren't images that would be included in the same day slideshow, but those are images that may be included in the blog post. This is marketing power in 2 ways. 1, you are making a great in-person impression with the vendors you're working with. You're also making a good impression to those that you send out sneak peeks. They're not expecting it. They're going to love you for that. I have never had a vendor have a negative response. They've always been shocked. Secondly, you are getting connected with their audiences. So hopefully, you can make a request of this, but hopefully, naturally, they're going to be tagging you and talking about you when they share these images. And so that is introducing you to their world. So it's 2 forms of marketing coming from one action. All right, so number 6 is to blog within the golden window of impact. I have had this recommendation and advice for literally 13 years. It is what allowed me to grow this entire business. Now, blogging, I get it. It's not what it used to be, but it is still the secret to SEO, and it's still a great idea for not only your workflow, but for your clients to have a great place to reference people back to see the highlights of their day. This is great whether you blog 25 images or 140 images. It does not have to be this massive, massive blog post. I think the timing of when you get a blog post up is more important than how long the blog post is. So what I recommend is that photographers use the golden window of impact, which is, I think, 72 hours after the wedding. You're going to think I'm crazy, but people in our KJ Consistency course, I explain our entire process of how I make this happen. If there's one thing I've done in my business consistently and I've never strayed from it, it is this rule. And it is not just because of marketing, it's because of my own sanity. I turn weddings around in 7 days. I have to. If I don't and I get behind, I literally start to feel crazy and overwhelmed and anxious, and I don't want to run a business that way. So I use the marketing power of showing people a highlighted blog post where I've written them personal messages about why I love their day, and I have that ready for them on Tuesdays after the wedding. If you need to do Thursdays, that is okay. But the sooner the better, because people who are at that wedding, they're on a high from that wedding right after it happens. And after they get back into work, they fly home, they drive home, everyday life starts. They're just not as impacted by the images as they were that weekend. So let's show them the blog post, get them excited as soon after the wedding as possible. That does not mean that you edit the entire gallery. It means you pick your favorites. You edit just your favorites. Then you can sync to those images for the final gallery edit. It's a whole workflow. It's a whole thing. It's transformed my business. It's transformed thousands of other photographers' businesses. So if you think, oh, there's no way I could do that. It takes me 6 months to get a wedding. Hopefully not 6 months. It takes me 6 weeks to turn around a wedding. It doesn't really take you 6 weeks. It takes you 6 weeks to get the motivation to sit down and do it. But it does not take 6 weeks to edit a wedding. If it does, we've got another problem on our hands. All right, number 7, deliver their final gallery way before they expect it. I tell people 4 to 6 weeks. I deliver it in 7 days. People are blown away. I would say the most impactful response and the most marketing power I see from this is when I have bridesmaids who say, oh my gosh, you delivered this in 7 days? I have a friend's wedding I was in back in July. It's been like 6 months. I still haven't seen her photos, and neither has she. You can set yourself apart in so many little ways if you're intentional about it. I turn around my weddings because I hired an editor. I also have a blogging system that allows me to get my favorites edited so then we can sync to those edits so my edits look like my edits, because my editor is just syncing and tweaking, syncing and tweaking, syncing and tweaking. It is marketing, it's efficiency, it's a workflow, it's a beautiful system that allows me to stay sane, ahead of the game, marketing with every wedding that I shoot, and I'm a present mom and business owner because I don't have weddings just hanging over my head constantly. Let's start educating our clients to expect a little bit less. That sounds crazy. Under promise, over deliver. If it's going to take you a month to get those images to them, tell them it's going to take 2.5 months, right? Promise them something that you know is not even close to what you can do, and you do it 10 times faster. The worst thing you could do is tell them, I'll get these to you in 4 weeks, and then 6 weeks roll around and they still don't have their images, but you're almost done. Like, there's just no greater way to kill trust and to kill an experience. Number 8, be strategic with creating content while you're shooting. This is what I mean. If you have a second shooter, ask them to get like 5 to 7 clips of you throughout the day on a phone from behind the scenes. So then when you get home, you can airdrop those from your second shooter and add some professional final images to a reel, TikTok, whatever you want to do, but create some content on social media that shows that you are working. So the fact that you are doing a job, working with a client, you're in it, you're making it happen. We want to document a little bit of that behind the scenes. Now, I'll be honest, I am not great at this. Michael is not great at this. This is not something that I practiced throughout my 13 years of shooting, but that's because I didn't really need to. Nowadays, with social media, you need this kind of content to make yourself relevant and to seem more busy and engaged and have content that actually will do something on the algorithm. Number 9, thank anyone involved that had a part in you being there. Michael and I try to do this at every single wedding. Honestly, sometimes we're leaving and we're exhausted and we've just said goodbyes and we realize we haven't done it and we have to go back in and start another conversation. And it takes a lot out of us, but we always do it. Why? Because it's impactful. So we go in to the reception after the exit and we'll find dad, we'll find mom, we'll find the planner, we'll find the venue owner, whoever is there that has impact, that really had a part in hiring us and working with us. We just thank them for the opportunity to work with them. This started because at my wedding, the catering staff, the entire staff came up to my dad and shook his hand and my mom and thanked them for the opportunity to serve their daughter. And we still talk about it, right? And I have referred that catering company for 13 years in this area because of that one thing. It just made a huge impact on us. So it's an intentional decision. It's a tiny thing, costs me nothing, but I know not every other vendor is doing that, right? It's easily a way to set me apart. 10, unexpected gifting. What does this mean? It means do something that your clients are not expecting. I think it's even more impactful when this happens after the wedding immediately. So for us, we shoot a wedding, right? We do all the things you already heard me talk about, but we also take one of those same day slideshow images that we loved and we immediately order a canvas for our client's home. They may not even like canvases. I don't care. It's the surprise and it's they didn't have to do this for us. That's a kind of response that gets momentum. They share about it on Instagram or they send us a text. Even if it's not something they post on social media, it is still a marketing win. So many photographers are like, they're not sharing all this stuff I'm doing. That's okay. Honestly, it's more impactful for them to have conversations that you will never hear than it is for them to put something on their Insta stories, right? It seems like that should be the win, but the win really is how you make a relational impact on the clients that you get to work with. That is what breeds ongoing, compounding word of mouth marketing. When you do this, you are changing the culture of your business. You're changing the way you relate to people. You're changing a connectivity level and you're allowing people to get to know you on a deeper level and feel more trusted with you. It's something that you don't see the ROI instantly. You're not going to do all these things at your next wedding and immediately see 3 bookings. That's not how it works. It is an intentional decision to run your business differently, and the compounding effect of that you will see over time. If we are intentional with the way that we market, we're also intentionally loving people better, which ultimately, at the end of the day, that's the biggest deal. That is the greatest accomplishment. Take it one step at a time. I'm excited to see your growth. Leave comments, questions below, and I will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.